Most Christians read the Psalms the wrong way. Not wrong theologically. Wrong functionally. They read them for comfort. The way you read a card someone sent you. You feel better for a moment. Then you put it down. Then the feeling fades. But the Psalms were never written to be read. They were written to be used. There is a difference. And by the time this video ends, you will understand that difference in a way that changes what happens in the first 10 minutes of your day. Let's start with what the Psalms actually are. What the Psalms actually are. The Hebrew title for the book of Psalms is Tehillim, which means praises. But the individual Psalms themselves were called Mizmor, a word that comes from the root zamar, meaning to pluck, to strike, to cut. Not soft, not passive, active, forceful. The Psalms were battle songs, war prayers, declarations made by people in the middle of real situations. Enemy attacks, personal failure, spiritual dryness, betrayal, grief, who chose to open their mouths and speak truth before they felt it. David did not write Psalm 23 from a comfortable room. He wrote it as a shepherd who had killed lions with his bare hands and would later face a giant that made entire armies run. When you understand who wrote these, and what they were going through when they wrote them, every word changes weight. Now, 5 Psalms. Let's go deep. Psalm 1, Psalm 5. The setup psalm. Most people skip it. That is a mistake. Psalm 5 is not famous. You will not find it on a coffee mug. But it contains something that makes every other morning psalm work. A principle most believers have never been taught. Let's look at verse 3 together. In the morning, O Lord, you hear my voice. In the morning I lay my requests before you and wait in expectation. Now watch this word. Lay my requests. In Hebrew, arak, pronounced arak. This word does not mean to gently present something. Arak is a military term. It means to arrange in battle order, to set troops in formation before the enemy moves. It is the same word used in 1 Samuel chapter 17 when the Philistine army arranged themselves for battle against Israel. David was not softly asking God for a nice day. He was arranging his mind under God's authority, in military formation, before the chaos of the day had a single opportunity to arrange it under fear. This is the foundational principle of morning psalms. Whoever arranges your mind first in the morning controls the day. Every other psalm on this list is a tool for that arrangement, but Psalm 5 gives you the principle that makes them all work. How to use it? Read verse 3 out loud tomorrow morning. Emphasize I lay, not I hope, not I ask nicely. I lay. Active. Intentional. Military. Psalm 2, Psalm 23. The Identity Psalm. You think you know this one, you don't. Let's do something different here. Let's read verse 1 the way most Christians read it, and then the way David actually meant it. Most Christians read it like this: The Lord is my shepherd, meaning he provides for me. That is true, but it is the surface meaning. Here is the deeper one. In ancient Israel, a shepherd did not just feed the flock. He went ahead of them. Every single morning before the sheep moved an inch, the shepherd walked the path first. He checked for predators. He removed thorns. He located the water. He scouted threats the sheep would never see. The sheep did not encounter danger first. The shepherd did. When David writes, "The Lord is my shepherd," he is declaring something specific. He is saying, before I face anything today, God has already been there. Every meeting I walk into, every conversation I have not had yet, every situation I cannot predict, God walked that path before I arrived. Now read verse 5 with that understanding. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. Your enemies are watching God. Prepare your seat at a table you did not set, in a room you did not decorate, for a meal you did not cook. You are not hoping to survive today. You are arriving at a table that was already set. How to use it? Read verse 1 and verse 5 together. After verse 1, say out loud, You have already been where I am going today. After verse 5, say, I am not surviving this day. I am sitting at a table. 2 sentences, 30 seconds. The entire framework of your day changes. Psalm 3, Psalm 91. The Protection Psalm. Here is what nobody tells you. Most Christians treat Psalm 91 as a comfort psalm, something you read when you are scared and want to feel better. But here is the historical context that changes everything. Jewish soldiers recited Psalm 91 before battle, out loud, together, as a unit. The Talmud, the ancient collection of Jewish rabbinical teaching, refers to it as the Psalm of Protection and documents its use as a declaration made before entering dangerous situations. It was not background reading, it was a war cry. And here is the detail that should stop you completely. When Satan tempted Jesus in the wilderness, Matthew chapter 4 verses 5 and 6, he quoted Psalm 91 directly. He said to Jesus, "He will command his angels concerning you, and they will lift you up." The enemy quoted this psalm to the Son of God. He knows which psalm has the most power. He tried to weaponize it, and the fact that he chose this specific psalm, out of all 150, tells you exactly which one he does not want you reading in the morning. Now look at verse 1. He who dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. The word dwells, Hebrew yashab, does not mean to visit. It does not mean to check in occasionally. Yashab means to sit down permanently, to establish your residence, to make your home. You are not a visitor in God's protection. You are a resident. How to use it? Read verse 1 and verse 2. When you reach verse 2, I will say of the Lord, pause, because the psalm itself is telling you what to do. I will say, not thinking, not feel. Say it out loud. The psalm was designed to be spoken. Psalm 4, Psalm 27, the fear psalm. Here is how fear actually works, and how David stopped it. Fear does not attack you with feelings. Fear attacks you with questions, and it asks those questions in the morning, before you are fully awake, before your defenses are up, before you have any evidence to counter them. What if this does not work out? What if they say no? What if it gets worse? What if the answer never comes? Fear is a prosecutor, and it begins its case before you have finished your coffee. David understood this. He wrote Psalm 27 from the middle of being surrounded by actual enemies who wanted him physically dead. And this is how he responded to fear. Verse 1. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the stronghold of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? Notice what David does not do. He does not say, I do not feel afraid. He does not pretend. He does not perform. He asks a question. Whom shall I fear? Name the specific fear. Say it out loud. Then ask, is that thing bigger than the Lord who is my light, my salvation, my stronghold? The brain cannot hold two contradictory certainties at the same time. When you introduce the certainty of who God is, the certainty of fear begins to lose its grip. Now look at verse 14. Wait for the Lord. Be strong and take heart and wait for the Lord. The Hebrew word for wait here, kava, means to twist together like the strands of a rope. Individual strands are weak. Twisted together, they become unbreakable. Waiting on God is not passive stillness. It is actively twisting your weakness around His strength until the two cannot be separated. How to use it. Name the specific fear out loud, the actual what if. Then read verse 1 directly at it. Then read verse 14. Say, I am twisting my weakness around your strength. I will not face this alone. Psalm 5. Psalm 118, verse 24. The Declaration Psalm. This is the most misused verse in morning devotions. This is the day the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. Here is how most Christians use this verse. They read it. They wait to feel it. The feeling does not always come, especially on hard mornings. And so the verse feels hollow, and they move on. But look at the grammar. We will rejoice. Future tense. Volitional. A decision about what is going to happen. not a description of what is currently felt. David is not reporting an emotion. He is making a declaration about a choice. And this is the countercultural core of every morning psalm. The world, and your own brain on a difficult morning, tells you to wait for something good to happen before you choose joy. Wait for the evidence. Wait for the outcome. Wait until the situation warrants a positive response. Every single morning psalm on this list says the opposite. Arrange your mind before the chaos does. Declare your shepherd before fear names your enemies. Speak the protection before the attack comes. Answer the fear before it finishes the question. Choose the day before the day chooses you. This is not positive thinking. This is not motivational speaking. This is the consistent pattern of every man and woman in Scripture who walked in supernatural peace in the middle of natural chaos. They spoke first, then they walked into the day. How to use it. Do not read this verse hoping to feel it. Read it as a decision, out loud, slowly, and after you finish say, I am choosing this day. Before anything happens, before I know how it ends, I choose it. The deeper thing nobody teaches here is what ties all 5 psalms together, and what completely changes how you understand them. David wrote Psalm 5 from exile, Psalm 23 from the wilderness years, Psalm 91 during active military campaigns, Psalm 27 surrounded by enemies, Psalm 118 after betrayal, near death, and years of being hunted. Not one of these psalms was written in a good season. Every single one was written from the worst. And here is what that means for you. These psalms were not written to describe the life of someone whose circumstances were good. They were written to create the internal reality of someone whose circumstances were terrible. David did not write these because he felt them. He wrote them until he felt them. That is the difference between reading the Psalms and using them. You do not read Psalm 23 because you already feel like God is your shepherd. You read it in the morning when everything in your life says the opposite, until your spirit catches up with what your mouth is declaring. That is how they were designed. That is how they work. And that is what 14 years of highlighted Bibles never taught the woman who woke up afraid every morning. She knew the Psalms. She had never used them as weapons. The morning you start using them as weapons is the morning everything changes. Practical guide. 5 minutes maximum. Here is the exact morning practice, straight from the structure of these 5 Psalms. Minute 1. Psalm 5, verse 3. Read it out loud. Say, God gets first access to my mind today. I am arranging my thoughts under your authority before anything else arranges them under fear. Minute 2. Psalm 23, verses 1 and 5. Read both verses. Say, you have already been where I am going. I am arriving at a prepared table. Minute 3. Psalm 91, verses 1 and 2. Read both verses out loud. The psalm says, I will say, so say it. Don't think about it. Say it. Minute 4. Psalm 27, verse 1. Name the specific fear out loud first, then read the verse directly at it. Minute 5. Psalm 118, verse 24. Read it as a decision, not a feeling. Slowly, out loud. 5 Psalms, 5 minutes, before your phone, before the news, before fear starts its morning report. The day is coming either way. The only question is who gets into your mind first. Say this out loud. I will not let the day settle my mind. I will arrange it first. These Psalms are not poetry, they are weapons, and starting tomorrow morning, I will use them. If someone came to your mind right now, someone who wakes up already defeated before the day begins, send this to them. That thought was not random.